So I'll be the first to admit that I'm very impressed by Zion's athleticism, but I already knew, his athleticism would be, amazing. Based on watching him in high school. But I'm not gonna be so quick to hop on the bandwagon as others just because I've seen this, pretty much before. Maybe not with the same skill set, but I've seen a bunch of players come into the league with, you know, a bunch of athleticism or crazy handles or great finisher at the rim, um, but couldn't shoot. And some players, just to name a few from last year's draft, would be Lonzo Ball, De'Aaron Fox, Markel Fultz, and Josh Jackson. And while Markel Fultz didn't really play last season, Lonzo Ball and De'Aaron Fox got a fair amount of playing time, and they struggled to really impact the game more than they did because they couldn't shoot, which means if they didn't have the ball in their hands, they were really, they struggled. And even when they did have the ball in their hand, because they couldn't shoot, it was a problem for them to beat their man, to beat their defender. Excuse me. Lonzo, even when he was playing off ball, he would just go to the corner and the defense would literally sag off of him because they knew he couldn't shoot. Now, I knew he had a few months at the end of the season or even throughout the season when he shot, pretty good. And the same thing for the other players. But if you can't do that consistently, then what really is your worth? We live in the NBA now, or we're watching the NBA now, where if you can't spread the floor, then you're hurting your team. We live in the NBA now where the defense is switching everything. So even if you're running plays, you're not really going to get a great shot at the end of the game or even throughout the game because against smarter teams, they're going to recognize the play you're running and they're just going to switch it. They're going to switch the screens. They're going to switch everything. So it's really going to come down to, can your stars or can your go-to scorers break down their man one-on-one and get their own shot? And right now, I don't see Zion having that ability to do that. He has an okay handle, but I just don't see him being able to break down his defender good enough consistently to be elite. And that's just my opinion. I'm not saying he's gonna suck, and I'm not saying he is this player, but from what I've seen, Zion reminds me a lot of Stanley Johnson or Justice Winslow, or maybe even Jaylen Brown. Players with a bunch of athleticism, had NBA physiques but couldn't shoot, and their impact in the NBA has been minimal. Now Jaylen Brown has developed a shot, and he's a great defender, or at least an above average defender, and he is a very important part to that Celtics team, but only because he developed a shot along with the other great skills he had, such as his athleticism and his defense. Let's say right now, I'm not saying this is what he is. I'm not comparing Zion to this player. But let's say right now, Zion is seen to be somebody like Ben Simmons. Now, I know Zion doesn't have the passing ability or vision of Ben, but let's say that Zion is Ben when he gets to the NBA. They have him playing point guard or playing playing point power forward or something, or point forward or whatever. And he's mainly on the ball, controlling and running the offense. Ben Simmons got exposed in the playoffs because he couldn't shoot. The Celtics just put a bigger man on him, and that way Ben wasn't able to bully his way to the rim anymore. Because these big men now, your forwards, your power forwards, and your centers, they're able to move their feet. So it's not always a mismatch now. Now you still do have your bigs who are slow and who can't really move their feet and who can't defend guards, but they're getting shipped out of the NBA. So if people are thinking that's gonna be Zion's, claim to fame, that he's gonna be able to beat, they're gonna be able to play him at the four, or and play and put bigger defenders on him, and the bigger defenders are gonna be too slow, so Zion's gonna blow right past him. That's not necessarily true. Um, it's just the best players from the most recent drafts have had the shot along with the athleticism. Look at Jason Tatum. Look at Kristaps Porzingis. Look at Devin Booker. Look at Donovan Mitchell. They have that athleticism. They have the ability to create their own shot, and they also can shoot the ball very well. So I'm not saying Zion is going to be Stanley Johnson or Justice Winslow. I'm saying that if he doesn't develop a shot, if he doesn't get better at breaking down his defenders, then that's possibly who he's going to be. Now, at his ceiling, Zion has the capability, to me, reminds me of a young Charles Barkley. I'm not really seeing too much LeBron, but I see a lot of Charles Barkley. And I can't wait to see what his career turns into in the future.